It is instructive farther to observe how the doctor deplores the hostility which the higher orders in the state have manifested towards the reforming measures of the Church. Quote, "It is by a singular, perverse, and infatuated policy on the part of the upper classes that when the Church was fast recovering this wholesome and most beneficial, yet withal pacific ascendancy over a grateful and willing community, an arrest should have been laid on it. And that, too, at a period when society is obviously verging to dissolution from the growing irreligion of the multitude. Yet, in the face of this danger, many, and calling themselves conservatives too, have entered, and with the keenest exasperation against the alone policy by which the Church can be made the instrument even of a temporal salvation from the horrors of impending anarchy, and accordingly it is in one and the same quarter that we behold the deadliest antipathy against either the Church being extended or the Church being evangelized. Heaven grant that the eyes of our aristocracy may at length be opened to the hazard, not of their own position merely, but of the country at large." Elsewhere, the doctor admits that at one time he was sanguine enough to believe that even the opposition of the irreligious might be conciliated by clearly demonstrating the good, political, and economical that an evangelical church is fitted to confer by, quote, "charming away, or at least lessening indefinitely, all turbulence and pauperism and crime," unquote. But that he has now become convinced that the antipathy to true religion by which some men are actuated is a part of the old man, the inveteracy of which cannot be overcome but by regenerating grace, quote, "that Christianity, if not welcomed in her spiritual character, refuses to make herself known as the harbinger even of those blessings which statesmen and philanthropists most long to realize," unquote. But without further multiplying extracts, where there is much that is appropriate, I give one paragraph in which the doctor expresses his matured judgment in regard to the two great parties in the state at the present day. Quote, "After all, I now feel that I owe an act of justice to the Whigs. I understand justice in the sense of equity, and I am now bound to say that if, on the question of church endowments, I have been grievously disappointed by the one party, on the question of church independence, I have been as grievously disappointed by the other. Of course, I speak on the basis of a very limited induction, but as far as the findings of my own personal observation are concerned, I should say of the former that they seem to have no great value for church establishments at all, and of the latter that their great value for a church establishment seems to be more for it as an engine of state than as an instrument of Christian usefulness. The difference lies in having no principle, or in having a principle that is wrong. In either way, they are equally useless, and may prove equally hurtful to the Church. And though the acknowledgment I now make to the Whigs be a somewhat ludicrous one, if viewed in the character of a peace offering, I am nevertheless bound to declare that, for aught like right church purposes, I have found the conservatives to be just as bad as themselves," unquote. It is not improbable that there may be those who have not been impressed by any arguments now advanced, who may nevertheless defer to the opinions of such a man as Dr. C. And to me, it does certainly appear that if the principles involved in the extracts now made were followed out to their legitimate results and brought into practical operation, Dr. C. would reject the alliance of ungodly civil rulers as resolutely as we do ourselves. If we might presume to offer a word of counsel to the Church in such difficult and perplexing circumstances, it would be to ponder the example and adopt the resolution of the ancient Church in circumstances not dissimilar. Quote, "Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with thorns, and make a wall, that she shall not find her paths. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, for then it was better with me than now," unquote. Hosea 2, verses 6 and 7.